over here so everyone can see me. I'm gonna focus on the phone. Okay. Hello, my name is Carol Garcia, as y'all know me, and this is my college study skill assignment. So today I'm gonna explain my method of study, which has helped me so far. But first we're gonna start with basic methods. We all know basic methods that we've been taught by our professors or friends through the school year since we were little, and it's something that we kept doing and doing. First we have flashcards. Flashcards is something that we all know, that we've learned from school, how to study with flashcards, putting the definition in one side and then the word on the other side, or however it works depending on the class, depending on what do you need to learn. But yes, we have flashcards first. Second, we have reading from books. How many of y'all do usually read from books? Okay, well for me, in my personal experience, I'm not really good with just reading from a book. It's just not a way that I can memorize or understand things, since at some point my mind gets bored and it just decides to delete everything I've read. Third, we have quiz yourself. We all use Quizlets. We all use other methods of quizzing, or just writing questions and then answering, or asking somebody just to quiz you based on the information you give them. But I don't really like this option personally, because it just teaches you how to how do you say, like, identify instead of learn. You're just trying to identify what the information relates to. Like, let's say you have a question and you have multiple choice, and you start studying, you're gonna start relating it to what the answer starts with, or one specific word. But then what happens if they quiz, the professor rewrites it in a different way? It's gonna mess the whole thing up if you don't really know all the different definitions. Fourth point, memorize. I think this point goes with all of the points I've mentioned before. And memorization can be from flashcards, reading books, quizzing yourself, or also just trying to write and memorize. Oh, I'm gonna write the word, I don't know, any word, and then you write the definition, and you just going and going, writing and writing, trying to memorize it. I don't know how to feel about that one, because that one is just more specific, trying to memorize, but you don't really understand. Sorry. Study groups. That's my point. So what about study groups? We have done study groups. Yes, okay, maybe. So for study groups, we're so used to just getting together and study with groups. Oh, let's go over one thing, and then we all start playing around, or everyone's studying in their own thing, and you end up studying by yourself because either you were playing around what you were supposed to study, or nobody wanted to study together, actually just being there, sitting there, everyone on their own stuff. But my point of studying groups is learning while making mistakes, while presenting the information. So my point for this presentation is to show y'all my skill for studying, which is presenting to each other the information you learn. Where do I go with this? It means that you first, let's say your class has to learn like anatomy, physiology. You have to learn terms and definitions and all of that. And there's 10 PowerPoints, and there's 5 of y'all. Okay, we all know the information because we've seen it during class, and now it's time to study. So each one of y'all is gonna study 2 slides, and then you go ahead and present it in front of the class. You just present the information that you've known without using anything that helps. And then it comes when you make errors. That's when you get shy, you start getting red because you make an error, somebody pointed out. Yeah, it can be embarrassing, but that's the way that you learn. I'll explain more. Okay, so it's not just studying around people, it's not just memorizing, it's using each other to learn. Here's one of my resources, National Library of Medicine, and on this resource, they talk about how errors help us learn. So this research focuses on false memories. What do I mean by false memories? Sometimes when you make mistakes, your memory time tries to fill it in with something. So if you say, let's say you remember when you were a kid and you fell, and then you remember everyone was laughing at you because that's how you exaggerate it, but you remember exactly where you were and how you fell, and just your memory adds other stuff that makes it uncomfortable, but you still remember those uncomfortable moments. So for this one specific, we're doing the study is the people get some type of text, it could be from books or whatever, and then they get to study it, read it, and then they get asked questions, and then in these questions they either say the stuff right, say the stuff wrong. They get like the right answer, the wrong answer. They could be studying over and over to get it right. But on this study, the main point is the feedback. When we make mistakes and we get positive feedback, that's what makes us remember stuff. So a lot of them were, after answering, they were given the feedback. Okay, you did it wrong, but this is the right answer. Or you were close, but this is the right answer. And after they were asked again, after a while they were asked again the same question and the same stuff, they were able to remember the information, because that moment, by being told, okay, you messed up, but here's the right thing, it keeps it in your mind. And the results were making errors in tests during the process of learning derives direct benefits to learners. So it gives positive benefits to the people when you get feedback. So how did I discover this method? I discovered this method when I entered my A&P class with Dr. Hoyer, my professor. The first week he explained to us different ways that we could study how will we succeed in this class by helping or having a study group that helps us each other. He explained all the flashcards, all the stuff that you could do, but then he explained how this method has helped a lot of people more, and more with this subject that is a little bit hard because there's a lot of stuff that you have to understand. So what were my pros and cons from my experience? My pros is that I'm a shy person, so I was able to just be able to express or talk more in front of people, not as shy anymore. I'm still learning, but yes, I've learned that how to speak more in a room full of people and people, how to communicate, how to say stuff better, and yeah, it just helped me mostly on the study part, because yes, I've made mistakes and they stuck in my mind, but that helped me because during the exam I remember that moment where I messed up, and yeah, I got red, but somebody was able to tell me where I messed up. My cons of this method is somebody laughed at me one time. Yeah, I know. It was uncomfortable. Somebody just wanted to make fun. One of my study partners made fun of me in front of the other ones. So yeah, it was uncomfortable and made me not want to do it anymore. But I was the one that decided to keep doing this because it actually helped me in the long run, and decided to ignore all those bad feedback. Here are other examples. So this example and this example, I put them together because they're really similar. This one is just what I've explained, like my method is explaining how like explain to others helps you learn. But in this method, the only difference is that you're explaining it to a younger person. So by explaining it to a younger person, you're able to retain the information a little better because you're trying to put the words of what you've learned into a more simpler way, which in a lot of cases it helps if you have a lot of little siblings and you don't have anyone at your age to study, or you don't want to study with or you don't get to have a good study group. And then by this method, they just explain also as well how exposing the information is beneficial to yourself. But in this method, they talk more about quizzing yourself, doing it to yourself, looking at the mirror and explaining the stuff to yourself. So these two are similar to what I've learned, my method, and that's why I decided to put it here. If you want to read the information. Yes. Or yeah, we're reading it. So how would this contribute to our learning in the future? I feel like this method will help us to feel more confident by being able to going over and over, which is repetition on practicing this method in different scenarios with different people, different groups. And I feel like this method will not only help you as in that class or this moment right now, but also in the future if you have a work presentation that you have to do for your peers or your boss. And this will help you feel more comfortable and knowing how to be in that situation, how to go through that, how to explain what happens, somebody laughs at you or something like that. It will make you feel more comfortable. But yes, these are my reference. You can take a picture if you want. But yeah, that was it. Thank you very much.